Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I want to talk to you guys about Alliance Battle. Now, Alliance Battle has gone through a recent overhaul with the Doctor Strange update. We've gotten a new Extreme Alliance Battle mode, or ABX, as I will be referring to it from now on. And so we basically have two forms of Alliance Battle. We have normal Alliance Battle, and then we have ABX. And that has kind of thrown a wrench into previous videos and previous information that people were following in terms of guides on which characters to build for Alliance Battle and who to prioritize if you want to get a good Alliance Battle score, if you want to be consistent, if you want to hit 1 million, hit 2 million, whatever your goal is. If it's Alliance Battle related, then the information that you were using previously is not as useful as it once was. A lot of it is still useful in some way or another, but there are a lot of new players and unlikely players being added to the list of best Alliance Battle and ABX characters. So we're gonna get into the list today about it, guys. I wanted to give you my thoughts on the best characters for Alliance Battle, and that will include both normal Alliance Battle and ABX, because while this is kind of a guide for veterans, and this is kind of not a guide, but it is a framework or a roadmap for newer players. Even if you're just starting out in the game, if you use this as a way to plan ahead for the characters that you're going to invest in, you could have a very competitive Alliance Battle score before you have 20 maxed out characters. And that's a pretty big deal, because nowadays there are just so many characters, and sadly so many of them don't produce on the level that we expect them to for certain modes, and no mode is more true of that fact than Alliance Battle. Even in World Boss we can kind of squeak by with subpar characters because of striker bonuses, but Alliance Battle is really not one of those modes. You get super punished if you do not have the capable hero, and there are not a lot of options, for better or worse. There are not a lot of options at each at each stage or at each setup, so you have to definitely optimize. So this is an optimization video, but it applies to both new players and old players. But I just wanted to say, guys, before I get into the nitty-gritty, I did put a lot of effort and I put a lot of love into this video, because I wanted to make it appealing, and I wanted to make it right the first time for you guys. I didn't want to leave anything behind. So if you guys enjoy the video, and if you guys enjoy the presentation of it, then smash that like button, and let's try to make this the most liked video to date, guys. Let's get into it. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. I am going to be streaming 10 hours from the drop of this video at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. So if you're new, you should probably check it out for some crazy moments. And if you're a regular viewer of the stream, I can't wait to see you there, because we have some shenanigans planned this time. So who are the best characters for Alliance Battle and ABX? Well, I wanted to make a list that was not only succinct, but a list that was also overlapping as much as possible, because in Alliance Battle and ABX you will see that the restrictions, or the characters that are allowed to fight, change, and most of the time they don't overlap on the same day. And so I didn't want to have a lot of variation, because that will make the list too big and that will kind of overwhelm people. So just full disclosure at the top, guys, for all of the whiny babies who don't see Iron Fist featured, or Shang-Chi featured, or whoever the fuck they like to play with. There are other characters who can get on this list, but I wanted to make the list as overlappable as possible to shrink the number of required or prioritizable characters to the smallest number, and the most effective number. So what I'm going to be referring to, and I'm going to be summarizing my points here with this graphic, and so you guys will be able to see as we go through how it kind of pans out, how it builds out, and what your roster will look like in terms of its Alliance Battle and ABX competitiveness from top to bottom. So in round 1, guys, we have Meteor Battle, and then we have the Extreme mode. The ABX will always be Meteor plus Boss. We don't have any variation on that. We just have a variation on what the boss does. But I'll save that for another video, guys. This is just for the characters. Now, the normal Alliance Battle hasn't changed a lot since the Doctor Strange update. It has gotten shorter. So the Meteor round is about the same, but the Boss Battle round is actually a lot shorter. Usually, or before, it would take about anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes to complete because there were so many fucking waves. Now, there's only about 4, I believe, or 5 waves. It's very, very short. You can complete it in less than 5 minutes. It's not necessarily easier, but because it's shorter, I believe it is easier because there are fewer opportunities to make a mistake. There are fewer chances to get one-shotted by the Frost Beast's roar. And so in general, I think that it's more accessible to new players, so they can at least get a max score on all of the normal Alliance Battle modes from round 1 to round 7. So for normal Alliance Battle on round 1, there is no restriction. So there are, plenty of characters who can complete this mode. It's not very difficult, but the 4 best that I think can do it the most consistently and the fastest are Tier 2 Carnage, of course, Doctor Strange, Shirog, either Tier 1 or Tier 2, and then sadly there's only a Tier 1 Loki present who can do it, but still is very capable with either uniform. Not a lot of surprise there, guys. In round 2 for normal Alliance Battle, there is a combat restriction, so you can only use combat characters, but you can use both heroes and villains, so you've got a list of 30 to choose from, and a couple others, I guess, with uniform changes. But of course, there are some that rise to the top. Again, Tier 2 Carnage is a very easy clear. You guys were watching that at the beginning of the clip. And Tier 2 Moon Knight. Tier 1 Moon Knight has a lot of trouble because of the lack of heal, and the damage is still kind of low. Of course, there are a lot of other honorable mentions, but they're not going to be in this video because they don't overlap as well into ABX. On to round 3 of normal Alliance Battle. There is a blast restriction, so it's male or female, so both Doctor Strange and Shirog can double dip there to give you an assist again and clear that normal Alliance Battle day very smoothly. In round 4, we just have a flat speed restriction, no gender or hero supervillain changes or rejections. So Tier 2 Elsa is a great clear for normal Alliance Battle speed day, as well as Tier 2 Black Widow and Tier 1 or Tier 2 Gwenpool. A lot easier with Tier 2 Gwenpool, but doable with a Tier 1 Gwenpool because the damage and the AoE and the iframes are so strong. On to round 5, we have a universal restriction day or universal normal Alliance Battle day. So you've got all of the Black Order characters, you've got all the heroes and villains, Superman, whatever, Black Bolt, all that stuff. So in this one, the 2 best and the 2 most consistent are still going to be Loki with either uniform and then Hellstorm. Hellstorm is selected specifically because he's going to overlap into Extreme Alliance Battle, whereas a lot of the other good contenders like Tier 2 Black Bolt, all of the Black Order, whatever, they don't overlap as well. I guess you can also say Proxima and Supergiant, but that's a bit heavy-handed for normal Alliance Battle. It's a bit overkill. You don't need them. You can do it just fine with Hellstorm and, to a lesser degree, Loki. On to round 6, we have a female-only normal Alliance Battle day. So just take all of the characters that I previously mentioned. Tier 2 Black Widow does really great there. Tier 2 Gwenpool does really well there, and so does Tier 2 Elsa. All of them are fantastic. The day is actually exactly the same. The speed normal AB day and the female normal AB day, they're both meteor days. So if you can clear the speed day with those girls, you can do the exact same thing in round 6, which is why it's better to invest in them than to invest in someone like Tier 2 Yondu or Tier 2 Ant-Man. Despite what I have obviously done. Then on the last day, guys, we have a supervillain restriction. So it's not restricted by type, but it is restricted by their alignment or their affinity. So we can only get the supervillains. Again, tier 2 Carnage does fantastic in this mode. He outshines even Loki in terms of how quickly he can clear and how smoothly he does it. So yeah, those two top the list for normal Alliance battle days. Moving on to Extreme Alliance Battle, or ABX. This is where things start to get very difficult and very complicated. The mode here is going to be both Frost Beast and clones or Ultron minions and meteors. So most of the characters that can clear normal Alliance Battle get chucked out the window, and you're left with a very short list of capable characters. Now, when I say capable, I mean at least comfortably getting 50,000 points, because 50,000 points is where you actually get some gold rewards, is where you actually start to get some goodies. But the two tiers that you want to try to aim for are either 50,000 points for Extreme Alliance Battle or 100,000 points. I know that's a huge jump, and not all of the days can even be cleared to 100,000 consistently right now, even by myself. But for most of the days they can be, and the good thing is a lot of the characters overlap, so we don't have to invest in that many characters when all is said and done. So for round 1 of Extreme Alliance Battle, or ABX, it's a combat supervillain restriction. This is a very, very punishing day because there are basically no good supervillain heroes or supervillain combat types outside of Carnage. You can use tier 2 Nebula, you could use tier 2 or tier 1 DJ Khaled, you know, Crossbones, I guess, but all of the good combat types that are farmable are heroes. So Moon Knight, Iron Fist, White Tiger, Groot, you know, they're all heroes. They're not supervillains. Shang-Chi. So you're basically left with tier 2 Carnage. Tier 2 Carnage will double tier 2 Nebula's score on this day, so it's not even close. I mean, you can probably get upwards of 60,000 with Nebula tier 2 on this ABX day, but you can get well over 120,000 with the right tier 2 Carnage. So hands down, no question, tier 2 Carnage is the one to get for ABX round 1. Round 2 is a no restriction day, so you can use any hero you want, any villain you want, but by far the highest DPS character in the game now, Doctor Strange, no surprise there. Way out DPSs every other character with the right team setup, and so he's unequivocally the man for round 2 of ABX. Round 3 of ABX is another very punishing day. It's Universal Hero restriction. So that takes all of the Black Order characters out of the equation, and you're basically left with a pretty sad list. I mean, you know, a lot of the characters that make the list don't even have their tier 2s yet. Thor, Jane Foster, Angela, Captain Marvel, and the ones that do, most of them have really sad, pathetic tier 2s. And the ones that got promising tier 2s, like Black Bolt, I haven't seen any information to lead me to believe that he is any good, or even better, or even as good as Hellstorm for this ABX day. So I have to just stick with Hellstorm. Hellstorm here doesn't need to be tier 2 necessarily. From the small amount of experience I have between his tier 1 and his tier 2, the damage is not that much better in terms of your score output. So my score didn't jump by that much from tier 1 to tier 2. So he's not a must tier 2 for Extreme Alliance Battle Universal Hero Day. But the tricky part with Hellstorm is that to maximize your score, you're gonna need a tier 1 Satana to bump up his DPS with the leadership. If you don't have a tier 1 Satana, then the damage is going to take a hit, and you're going to see the numbers fall a little bit, because 30% energy leadership is a lot worse than 60% fire damage leadership. So keep that in mind and take that into consideration, but Hellstorm is still the main DPS and the main survivable hero for the full 3 minutes of ABX in round 3. In round 4, guys, it's a combat hero restriction, so this one's a little bit less punishing than round 1. We have a lot to choose from, but I think the overall best solution is going to be tier 2 Moon Knight, just because of his iframe, especially on his 5 skill Lunar Eclipse. It does the most damage, it has the most hits, it's got the most AoE of all of his skills, and it's a full iframe. The combat superhero day, or the combat hero day for ABX, is very punishing because you need a snare resist obelisk. The beast will snare you for 3 seconds whenever you get hit if you don't have a snare resist obelisk like I have on my Shang-Chi. So it takes a lot of additional building in order to get a competitive team, but tier 2 Moon Knight is still the main DPS for this one, and I think he outshines even, you know, tier 2 Iron Fist, etc. On to round 5 for ABX. It's a blast male day, so Shirag is not a candidate for this one, and among the male blast characters, the only one who can even, you know, give you a great score is Doctor Strange. He will crush this mode, give you over 100,000 if you have him geared properly. So he's, you know, without a doubt the number one and only proper pick for round 5 ABX. Round 6 ABX is a bit of a misnomer. It kind of sucks that we have a universal supervillain day because it doesn't fit very well with all of the other days. You could use Loki here, but he's not going to give you, or she's not going to give you, or they are not going to give you a very good score. So you're going to have to dip into Black Order characters. I was trying to leave them off this list, but unfortunately, to get a competitive score, to get a score above 100,000, you're definitely going to need either Proxima or Supergiant. And the reason why I picked Proxima or Supergiant is because they have the highest burst DPS of all of the Black Order characters. And they are the most consistent at bringing really strong DPS when they come in, when they jump in as strikers. So you'll often see teams of like Ebony Maw, Supergiant, and Proxima, and then even though it's Ebony Maw out, Supergiant or Proxima will come in and attack with their 5 skill, do massive fucking damage, and rack up a score well above 100,000. So that's why I selected those two for the Universal Supervillain Day. Then in the last round, round 7 of ABX, we have a Hero Speed Day. Now, there are a lot of speed heroes to choose from. Most of them, or all of them basically, have their tier 2 at this point, but the list of capable heroes is very short. And again, that's because you have to dodge meteors and you have to do high area of effect damage to clear the mobs and to do damage to the Frost Beast. Because of that, I actually have to leave Elsa off of this list, either tier 1 or tier 2. The problem is her 5 skill Red Flame takes a long time to wind up. What that means is when you cast it, there's a long time before it actually activates, and even though you get the blood transfusion effect where she's immune, you're gonna get hit by meteors, and you're gonna reset your dodge meter, which is gonna lower your damage. And also, her Red Flame doesn't have a very large area of effect. It's kind of a cone, so it doesn't hit all of the mobs all the time. And in later, thank you for the Dimension Rift, in later stages, in later waves, you can't even clear all the mobs in one shot. You need 2 or 3 goes of it, and that's going to take you upwards of 20 seconds, so it really drops your DPS. So for this one, I have to give it up to tier 2 Black Widow. With the lightning damage boosts from obelisks, her damage goes crazy, and her 5 skill Coup de Grace is a massive gigantic area of effect skill. It covers like more than half of the fucking screen, it looks like, and it does insane damage to all the mobs. It usually clears them in one shot the first time around. And also tier 2 Gwenpool, because her 5 skill gift special, again, huge AoE and very long iframe, so you do not reset your dodge timer for meteors that land where you are if you're in iframe. And her bullet rain, it's a partial iframe, but it's got a large area of effect as well, and Gwenpool has very high DPS, so the two of them in tandem can easily and comfortably get you above 50,000 just by switching back and forth and rotating their 5 skills or their 6-star skills. So that's why I had to leave Elsa off the list, but that's why I am very high on tier 1 or tier 2 Black Widow and tier 2 Gwenpool. So I'm very close to tier 2ing Gwenpool just for the hell of it, and I am getting very close. I'm building towards my tier 2 Black Widow because I need her for that mode specifically. So overall, guys, if we look at the list of characters who have been selected, we come out with a list of 6 characters who are by far the best for both normal Alliance Battle and Extreme Alliance Battle, ABX. Tier 2 Carnage, Doctor Strange, Hellstorm, Tier 2 Black Widow, Tier 2 Gwenpool, and Tier 2 Moon Knight. As you can see there, guys, they each cover at least 1 day's worth of a good to great to perfect score. And with those characters, with those 6 characters, you can complete every single day except for Universal Supervillain, which you'll need, you know, either Loki for or 1 or 2 Black Order characters. So it's not actually a huge investment to get your roster ready for, you know, a very competitive Alliance Battle score. Keep in mind, I am skipping over the fact that you do need to bring 3 characters into Alliance Battle, and you should try to construct teams that have, you know, team up bonuses or that have like strong leaderships. So it's important to get supporting characters like Warwolf, you know, Ancient One or Star-Lord, She-Hulk. I'm not glossing over that fact. I realize that this is not a complete list because you need to bring a team, but all of these characters that I've listed, these top 6 people, these top 6 characters, they are the main DPS, and they are what's going to give you the majority of your score. So start prioritizing them and start building them up, and you'll have a much higher Alliance Battle score, hopefully sooner rather than later. So that's it for the list, guys. Those are the top contenders. Let me know what you thought of the layout and the presentation and the list. Let me know who you think I missed, or who you know, I maybe overvalued. And of course, guys, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.